Hey everyone, it's Kia Kelly, founder of You, Me, and Jesus. Welcome to tonight's episode. If you're watching this on the replay, just type hashtag replay. It lets me know that you're watching this on the replay. Also, if during the broadcast you feel anything, think anything, or have questions, always feel free to comment or ask questions on the replay. For those of you guys that are watching this live, good evening. I am excited to be with you all this evening for You, Me, and Jesus. We had a slight hiatus because I was moving. It was my birthday. It was all types of things was going on in the month of June. So we are getting ourselves situated. Probably in the next 2 weeks, my space will switch again. Same house, but my actual space that I'll be doing my live streams in. So just stay with us, you guys. Stay with us, okay? I need to tag my friend who actually asked me to, she was the one that actually asked me to do the broadcast on this. So I need to invite her really quickly. All right, because she asked me to do this. All right, so tonight we are talking from the subject, connecting with people. All right, connecting with people. And so this is the You, Me, and Jesus broadcast. And what that is that 2 years ago, God asked me to come on live stream and just share my relationship with him with you guys. And so I started out on Periscope. Now we're on Facebook, and I've been uploading all the videos onto my YouTube channel. Also, I have an amazing free spiritual gifts assessment. Just go to KiaKelly.com KiaKelly.com, click on companies, and then scroll for You, Me, and Jesus. I'll post the link after this video. Anyway, so my friend Sophia, who I invited to watch this broadcast just now, she was like, you need to do a broadcast on how you do what you do when you move to different places. How are you connecting with your neighbors? How are you connecting with people? And so I did a 15-minute podcast. You guys can find it on all the podcast networks under You, Me, and Jesus. But I felt like that tonight that I would also talk about it here on the broadcast. And so if you guys think somebody would benefit from this, please feel free to share and start a watch party. It'll let more people watch the broadcast. Okay, so what is my philosophy on connecting with people? My philosophy is this, that we were all made for connection, right? We were all made to connect, right? To have love and to give love and all that. That means that everybody needs love, right? Everyone, right? At all times of your life, everybody needs love. But what I also know is that everybody doesn't think the same, believe the same, behave the same, but that doesn't mean we can't connect with them, right? But it took me a little while to get that. So it's not like I just came out the womb talking about connecting. It took me a while. Now, I basically kind of went through a process a couple years ago. When I started going through divorce, I felt humiliated, shame, all that stuff. And I had my little circle of friends, but for the most part, I retreated. I isolated. I was like, get me out of here, Jesus. Just get me out of here. And after doing that for a little while, I fell into depression, right? And so that wasn't working well for me. But also what happened was I moved into an apartment community where my neighbor was always drawing on the ground concrete and chalk, which was beautiful. Hey, Carla. And it caused us to chat a little bit. But then I had this longing for even more connection. So I moved into the city of Houston, and talk about connection, right? And so the apartment complex that I moved into was 100% community friendly. Like when you walked outside the building, easy, any day, you would see 100 people literally right across the street at the waterfall. It was like, so you couldn't get away from people if you tried, right? But I tried. And in this apartment, they were very community friendly. So they would have community events and all that. The day that I moved in, all the staff knew my name. And I was like, this is odd, but okay, and they just started having different events. And I started attending the events. And when I started attending the events and just smiling at people would come to me. Now, I was nervous about connecting with people because I had just gone through a period of isolation. You know what I mean? Retreating. But I was lonely. And I was like, it's only so much longer I can stay in this apartment with these cats. I'm not a cat lady. I'm just a lady who loves cats, right? And so I was like, no, I've got to connect. And so I started going to the events. And one day, what ended up happening was they had a brunch outside by the pool, and we were all eating and enjoying everything, and people just kept staying and staying and staying. And so what ended up happening was the brunch was over with. Now we're into the evening. People started going to their houses, getting food, getting drinks, and we were just sitting down talking. And I remember there was a black girl, a couple black people. One guy was Indian. There were Democrats. There were Republicans. There were pro-life people, pro-choice people. There was all types of people. And then I think one guy was a Muslim and some were Christian, right? And for hours, we sat there. Now, they said a whole lot of stuff that I didn't agree with. But I didn't get up and leave and say, I'm done, because I didn't agree with them. And there were some things that I said that they didn't agree with. But they didn't all get up, pissing fits and just leave. No, we just all kept talking. Now, whether it was a heated conversation or not, we just all kept talking. And from there, I just started wanting to connect with more people. I just started connecting with this person, and then this person, and then this person. And I started to cook. And I started bringing food to people coming to my house for food. I then got with some people and said, we're going to have an international pool party. And what does that mean? That means we have a pool and a grill. And our building was full of people from different countries. It was full of people from different countries, a lot of countries. And so there was a community wall. I created a flyer or something, and I posted on the wall, community pool party, this date. Bring your favorite dish from your particular country, right? Wherever you're from. And so funny, but it's the truth. I asked this one guy, what do you want me to bring? He said, fried chicken. And I said, okay. I think he was from Brazil or something. And so I made fried chicken. And we had probably 50 people that showed up for that. It was a really good time. And everybody was different. One guy probably bought 50 bottles of alcohol. He came down with everything. And I said, okay, so we know that if you invite this person, that they gonna turn up. And that's on them. Whether I drink or not. It was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? So it was, I could have been like, oh, no alcohol because I don't drink. But I was like, no, we are having a joint party. And if they choose to drink, that's on them. You know what I mean? And we had such a good time. And we ended up having more events after. We just kept having events after events after events after events. To where earlier this week, I got a text message. And the guy was like this, posing at the grill. He was making this salmon that I taught him how to make from a recipe. And I was like, oh, you eating it all by yourself? And he said, no, I'm actually going to be me, Zach, this person, and this person. I said, you keeping the events going? And he said, yeah, I got this. And I'm like, okay. And so that was the whole point. It wasn't just only connect when King is here. It was like, no, I want y'all to continue this because I need connection and y'all need connection. And so fast forward, God told me to move here to Redding, California. Well, I knew that I didn't really know anybody here. I knew of a person, but I didn't know the person very well. And I was like, okay, I can either get out there and isolate, or I can intentionally build community before I get there, right? So God had me create a flyer announcing that I was moving to California, posted it on social media January 1st, and I immediately said, connect me with everyone you know in Redding. Okay, connect me, because I don't want to be out there being alone. I don't want to be cooped up in the house by myself. And that's exactly what happened. I had so many people connecting me with all different types of people. Some of these folks I still haven't met yet, right? Because I've been connecting. And I also knew that I was going to be out here on my birthday, which was June 23rd. And I said, I have the potential of being sad and alone on my birthday unless I do something. So I decided to throw my own birthday party. I created the Facebook event. I invited all the people that I knew, and I asked all of them, hey, I'm having a party and I want to connect with people. Please add everyone to this birthday list that you think I should connect with and invite them to the party. And I asked everyone, please bring a dish to share, because I don't have, I'm not like balling like Beyonce. And I was like, so everybody bring a dish and we'll have more than enough. The day of my party, it was 20 people. Okay? Party started at 3. Everybody didn't leave till about 10:30. And we had a great time. Right? Then the next day I went kayaking with them. You see what I'm saying? And listen, there's so many things that we don't agree with. There's so many things that we don't understand, right? And I'm going to get into my little lesson here. Listen, here's one of the things that happened. So funny. So there's one guy, I won't say his name, but if you're watching, hey, we were talking a while back about in the black culture, one of the things that is mandatory, you have to know how to play spades. Right? I don't know why that's one of the little unwritten rules, but it just is, right? And if you don't know how to play, you're not supposed to tell nobody, right? That's just kind of like a little funny thing. And so I told him that a while ago, and he was like, oh, whatever he said. So the day of my birthday, he texted me and he said, oh, me and such, we can play spades. So do we get a black card? Now, this is a white boy, right? And I said, no, you don't just get a black card because you know how to play spades. There's some foundational things you need to know, or you need to be, or whatever, in order to have a black card or an honorary or something. And so I gave him my unofficial list, right? And then I got inspired. I posted out on social media and was like, if your friend wants a black card, what are some of the foundational things they need to be able to do or whatever? And social media went crazy. They went crazy on my personal page, crazy on my business page. And so as the party's going on, I'm starting to tell this story. And out of 20 people, 3 were African American. So 17 people did not look like me, right? And I didn't care. But I said, here's an opportunity to introduce them to some of the black culture in a humorous way that's non-invasive, that doesn't make them feel scared, that doesn't make them wonder, what should we say? Or can we laugh at this? And so I start reading them the list from online. Everybody is cracking up. And we're just laughing and we're connecting and we're connecting and we're connecting. Even though we had differences. You see what I'm saying? Like, we had huge differences. But it was like, we didn't care. We just wanted to connect. And so here's the thing that I like to say about connecting. Connecting with people is risky, right? Connecting with people is risky because you have to risk being rejected. You have to risk being misunderstood, and you have to risk that things could go bad. You have to risk that they could hurt you, right? But if you don't risk connecting with people, then you never connect with people. I remember at one point in time, I went to a party in Texas for somebody's birthday, and I was being myself, and somebody completely shut me down. It was like I was being extra, like I was doing too much. It just hurt my little feelings. I never wanted to talk to the person ever again. I barely spoke the rest of the brunch, and I didn't want to invite that person to anything else because they hurt my feelings, right? But it took a little while, but eventually I came back out. I invited that person to more things, and we're cool today. They have no idea that they hurt me, that they rejected me or embarrassed me. But I was like, no, I want to get to know this person. And so what I blew up in my head as something much bigger, they done moved on. So I have to be able to move on and love that person and just move along with it, right? And so some of the things that I see is you've got Democrats and Republicans at each other's throats over politics, right? You've got people that love Obama and people that love Trump going at each other. You've got people that are pro-life and that are pro-choice going at each other, right? You've got Muslims and Christians. You've got black and white. You've got people that are for the wall and people that say you're killing kids and people at the border, right? You got all the differences. But just because you have a difference with people doesn't mean you can't connect with them. It just means y'all differ in that. You still human. Like, listen, I have a lot of friends that are pro-choice. I am 100% pro-life, period. People always say, well, what about this? And what about that? I'm like, well, what I believe is if a baby is created, the baby should be born, right? Now, does it hurt when you think about all the scenarios? Absolutely. But I'm pro-life, right? But that doesn't mean I can't love somebody that's pro-choice. What that means is that if we ever hit those topics, we're going to always disagree. Does that make sense? That means we're going to always disagree. Like, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm a Christian, right? So I don't identify with either party. Either party. But when it's time to vote, I vote my conscience or what I believe, right? And listen, if I vote for John Paul Jackson, who is not running in the election, he's passed away. But if I vote for him, that's not me saying I agree with everything John Paul Jackson says, does, or has done, right? That just means at this moment, this person is getting elected to be in office for whatever period of time. And I choose this person over this one. Does that make sense? That's like when I'm friends with somebody, just because I'm friends with them doesn't mean I agree on everything that they do, right? That's like, I had some friends, like a Christian, so I believe in the Bible, but it doesn't mean I can't love everybody, right? So I had a friend, somebody that I met, and I told him that I wanted to go to the Pride Parade. And I said, I want to go to the Pride Parade, the gay Pride Parade, and I want to have a sign that says free hugs, and I want to just give out hugs. And he said, aren't you a Christian? I was like, yeah. He goes, you can't go to the Pride Parade. I was like, why not? He was like, don't y'all hate gay people? No. Y'all don't hate gay people? No. And I'm like, where'd you get that from? And he just was like, why? He didn't understand. And I said, oh, you dealt with some Christians that kept telling you going to hell, and that kept trying to cast demons out of you and all the things and making you feel like you're not human. So you don't understand how another Christian can take you as you are, right? And still love you and still be friends with you and still go and love on you without saying, I agree with you. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm not like that. Everybody's got stuff. Gossiping is a sin. Fornication is a sin. Stealing, all the stuff are sins. And if God called out all of our stuff, all of us would be going straight to hell. All of us would be going straight to just all of us. And so I told him, I said, no, I don't agree with that choice. But that doesn't mean I can't love you. You don't agree with some of my choices. But we still cool, right? He was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so what's the problem? Now, if you ask me what I believe, we'll talk about that. But I can still love you. We can still, you know what I'm saying? Like, just because somebody is Muslim doesn't mean we can't agree. It just means when we get to the topic of religion, we're going to disagree. Some of our cultural things will be different. But that's it. You know what I mean? That's like, I was born in Chicago, raised in Kentucky, 8 years in Virginia, 4 years in Texas, and now I'm here in California. Listen, this is a whole new world. A whole new world. Here in California. They eat more avocados than I eat potato chips. I hate avocados. But it doesn't mean I can't go to somebody's house for dinner. I just say, no avocados, please. Right? My friend Alexis, of whom I love, she is 100 full-fledged Hispanic. And she puts more jalapenos in her stuff than I have ever seen in a grocery store. And mushrooms. And I say, Alexis, I'm coming over for dinner. Can you please put me a bowl aside without the mushrooms and without... Listen, you can give me jalapeno, but take the seeds out. You're trying to kill me. And so guess what? When we have dinners, she don't put any mushrooms in mine. Or I just she makes them big enough where I can pick them out, right? And then she doesn't put as many seeds in the jalapenos. So instead of me not going to her house for dinner, we just make exceptions. We just go, okay, right? Does that make sense, you guys? And so when I have dinners at my house, I'm mindful of, I eat fairly healthy. Unless I'm having a party, you're cooking for a lot of people, you got to cook you got to cook what feeds the whole flock, right? But when I have like dinner parties and I make salads, I do not put the avocados in the salad. I hate avocados. But my friends like avocados. So I get avocado, cut it open, do the whole cute little thing and set it aside. Here is your avocado. You can have the whole one, right? I'm making fun of the avocados, but my point is that you can still connect with people even when you have differences. But it's a choice. It's a choice you have to make. It's a choice you have to make in saying, I am going to temporarily put down whatever wall I have, whatever preconceived notion I have about this person or these people, and ask them questions and get to know them, right? Right before my party, there was a guy named David who came to the party. Someone had invited him. Someone I know invited him. And we were just talking about culture, how I think someone is Korean and someone is Chinese in his marriage. One of the two, I can't remember. And I was just like, so what language are you teaching the kids? And they said, oh, all three. And I was like, you are? And I had more questions. And I said, so I may ask you some really ignorant questions right now. And he said, that's okay. And so I just started asking questions. And what I've learned is that I've learned more about people by just saying, okay, I have a question, but it may sound real ignorant. Please excuse me. When I say that to people, their guard comes down and we're able to talk. And we're able to just talk. Like someone asked me, I'll give you an example. I went out to help somebody with their business. And as we were talking, that somehow they felt comfortable. And they said, I have a question for you. I knew it was coming. He said, why do y'all get mad when we call you African American? I thought that's what y'all wanted to be called. And I said, okay, what's happening? This person has had an encounter with a black or African American person, and whatever he said, the guy went off and was telling him what he needs to be doing, don't need to be doing, what he need to call him, all this stuff. And so as I sat there with the guy and his wife, I said, okay, I've got a choice. I can spend a moment educating them or say, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I chose to educate. I said, well, let me put it this way. And I was like, I'm a visual person. So I started showing him on the table. And I was like, well, this person likes to be called black, right? This person likes to be called African American. This person doesn't care what you call them as long as you don't call them a nigger, right? And I told him, I said, I'm this person. You can call me black, you can call me white, you can call me black, you can call me African American, or you can call me rich, right? Just don't call me the N-word. And he said, well, why would he get mad? I said, well, you have to understand that every person is their own person. And every time you interact with a person, you can't say that all people are like this person. I said, because all white people are not like you. All white people are not like your wife, right? And so you have to allow every encounter you have with a person to be an encounter with that particular person, right? Like just because one person gave me the evil eye or may have grabbed or whatever doesn't mean that everybody is like that. You know what I'm saying? Listen, in my apartment community, when I was in Texas, I was the unofficial community organizer, right? And what that meant was when new people would come into the building, somehow that person would message me and say, hey, they told me to connect with you. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And so everybody pretty much kind of knew me. Well, one day I come home from school at like 11 o'clock at night. I go into my apartment and within a minute, security is calling me. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? Are you okay? Yes. Someone called security and said someone was breaking into your apartment. And I said, no. And I was like, whoa, what happened? And so I went to the front desk and said they didn't know what was going on. So the next morning I was like, what happened? They were like, we don't have any record of it. So that night I went down to the security guard the next night and was just like, well, what happened? And they said, well, somebody called and said that somebody was breaking into your apartment. So I went upstairs to your apartment and I heard you. And so I called you and you said everything was okay. So I let it go. And I said, well, why would they think I was breaking into my apartment? And she said, well, I don't know. And it hurt my feelings because it took me seconds to get into my apartment. Like, it's a key fob, like, boop, you know how the thing goes. I was so hurt. And I said, somebody is brand new to this floor and assume, because whatever reason they assume, that I don't belong here. It made me feel like I was being pointed out because I was racist, because they were racist. I was very hurt. I mean, I was hurt. Because I'm like, here it is, I do all this stuff here, and some new person comes along and yada, 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 right? But I had a choice. I had a choice to keep being upset. I had a choice to find out who it was, right? Or just to keep doing what I've been doing. And so after a couple of weeks, because my feelings was very hurt, I just chose to keep doing what I was doing. I kept planning events, and I just kept cooking and planning events. And I just said, they call again, I'm calling the police, and we gonna file a report because now this is harassment, you know. But I had a choice. I could have said, oh, these types of people, whatever. But I didn't do that. You know what I mean? Because I genuinely desire to connect. And most of you guys, well, all of y'all, at some level, you want to connect as well. At some level, you want to be loved, you want to love, and you want to connect with people. But you have to be willing to get outside of your comfort zone, outside of the Republican, Democrat, Black, white, Hispanic. You got to get out of all that, or you're not going to experience anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all, last week I went kayaking. Listen. I never thought in my life that I would be kayaking. Ever. But as I stood in my house and they were talking about going kayaking, I said, that sounds really fun, actually. I'm scared. I can't swim. Maybe I won't go. And they said, no, you can go. We'll give you a life jacket. You can ride one of us. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go. I'm going to die. Right? But I said, no, if I want new experiences, if I want to connect with these people, and I'm not calling them these people, y'all just don't know them, right? If I want to connect with them, I get to go where they're going, right? They came into my home and experienced me this way. I want to connect with them. And so I said, okay, I'll go. What should I wear? I went and got sunscreen because I rarely go to the beach. So I did all the things, right? And then the guy that I was riding with, I said, listen, I can't swim. Please don't be doing tricks in here or we're going to have a problem because I can't swim and I don't want to be afraid and I don't want to make your day of kayaking miserable because I can't swim, right? And we had a great time. I mean, we left at like 11 and didn't get back till almost 3 something or whatever. It was a really fun time. But some of you guys would say, ain't no way. Well, then you're going to miss out on connecting with people. You're going to miss out on connecting and having new experiences. Listen, I'll tell you what happened today. So what happened today was I was in church. I went to the 1 o'clock service and I'm sitting down. There's a seat between us and then a lady, right? And in worship, whatever, at some point in time, another girl comes and she sits down beside me. It's her friend. And so church is over with. And Pastor Bill or somebody says, hug your neighbor. So I turned to the girl and I just said, hey. And I hugged her and she said, what's your name? And I said, Kenya. And she said, you're Kenya. And I was like, that's me. And she said, Steve was trying to connect us. I'm Holly. Listen, God has been telling me he wants me to connect me with all types of people, right? Steve tried to connect me and Holly when I was in Texas, but it was so much going on. And so God was trying to connect us, and she asked God today, what service do I go to? He told her, go to the 1 o'clock. She sits down beside me, we hugging, right? And then we talk for another 20 minutes about Bethel Media, what she does, what I do for the city, how I can help her, how I can help her friend who has a human trafficking organization, rescuing people. I mean, it was quite the encounter that was happening. Another girl was looking for a place to live and looking for a job. I'm messaging people to help her find things, connecting. But that wouldn't have happened if I didn't turn to her and hug her. You know what I mean? I could have just said, no, I'm going up for prayer. My back hurt. No. I was like, I want to connect. And so I'm going to connect. No matter how scary it is. Because she could have said no. She could have turned around. You know what I'm saying? She could have turned right around and said, nah, boo. But she didn't. And so all that happened. And so I'm telling you guys that if your desire is to meet great people, is to be loved and love, you're going to have to take a risk, right? That's just like, y'all know, I dated, I married, and got divorced. Listen, one of the most scariest things to do again is to get married. But I'm not afraid. I said, When I got the go ahead to file and that thing was over with, I said, okay, Jesus, that is over. Let's go through the process. Let's go through the process of healing, restoration. And I said, Jesus, let's go all the way back to childbirth, to when I was born. What am I dealing with since childhood? And for the last 5 years, we have been working on through all those things, right? Because I was like, I want to be married again. I want to be married. I want to have a family. I want to do all the things. And when someone approaches me, I don't want to give them the resistance because I'm afraid. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. No, I'm not doing that. I desire to connect. And so in order for me to connect, I had to go through my own healing journey. Okay? And as I went through my own healing journey, I'm able to connect. I'm able to connect. Like, it's so much easier to connect after I went through my own healing journey. And so I encourage you guys that I don't care what race you are. I don't care what your religion is, whether you're pro-life, pro-choice, pro-Trump, hate Trump, pro-Obama, pro-Bernie, what's the dude's name is running? Biden, whomever you are with. You have to do some introspection. And you have to ask yourself, okay, what do I believe? Do I believe that all police are bad? Do I believe all police are good? Do I believe that all black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, Muslim, what do I really believe about all these people, right? And then ask yourself, how much truth is in that? Like, how much truth is in what you believe? Does that make sense? How much truth? Like, this may be a thing you have believed your whole life, and you don't even know why you believe it. Like, you may be doing this for your whole life, and you're like, I don't even know why I do that. It reminds me of a story of a lady. She used to make meatloaf or something she would always make. And when she would make it, she would cut off the sides, and then she would put the meatloaf in a pan and put it in the oven. And she would do that for a long time. And one day her husband or somebody came to her and said, why do you always cut off the meatloaf at the front or the end? She was making something, I don't know what it was called. And she said, well, her grandma or somebody asked her. And she was like, oh, well, that's how mama did it or grandma did it. And they were like, but do you know why they would do that? No. The reason why they cut it off in the front and the back is because it wouldn't fit in her little pan. So here's this lady, and she keeps cutting off the front and the back because she thinks that's how you make it. But the truth was that her people's pan was too small. So now she can make a full-size meatloaf because she got a big enough pan. But she kept doing something over and over and over again, and she didn't know why she was doing it. Y'all see what I'm saying? You have to ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you believe what you believe? Why do you drink, eat, whatever? Why are you doing everything? Why? Until you discover that, you won't be able to connect with the truth. Because what you're doing may be right. What you're doing may be the truth, but you don't know until you uncover it, right? That's like, I'll say this because I'm in California. Y'all, just in case I marry me a boo that's not African American. I'm just saying, listen, if y'all have watched me long enough, you know I be on here talking about, like, I like a black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, all that. Y'all know. Come on, y'all know it. Anyway, just the brothers be like, oh, you can't marry a white man? Sir, sit down. Okay, sorry. Tangent. What was I about to say? Oh, you have to ask yourself, why do you believe that every black man that marries a white girl don't like black women? That is not always the case. It could be that he fell in love with that woman and she happened to be white. Why do y'all see what I'm saying? Listen, I'm using examples, but I am inviting you into having your own introspective conversation. Like, if y'all knew how often I do introspection, you would say, what in the world? I introspect every single day. Every day. I wake up in the morning, I grab my journal and I write, and then I put, today I feel. And I write out how I'm feeling. And I'm going to say, why do I feel like that? Am I feeling sad, frustrated, fearful? If I have an interaction with somebody. I remember I was trying to connect with people after divorce. And I was meeting people and I could feel and I was like, okay, what's going on? And God said, you're afraid to connect with them. That was like 3 years ago. And I said, oh, why am I afraid? He goes, because of the shame and embarrassment and all that. And I said, okay. He goes, so we're just going to go on a journey and I'm going to work on healing you so you don't feel that. And so when I went to connect again with other people a year later, I didn't feel that. It was like, oh, this is easy, right? Listen, when I moved to California, I had a moment of, okay, how much of Kenya can these people handle? Listen to me, just in case you're Californian. How much of Kenya can they handle? Now, why did I ask myself that question? Because I've moved to different places. And there have been times when Kenya showed, listen, whatever reason, whatever God has done with me, whatever. Apparently, when I come into an environment, I'm like a whirlwind. And whatever happens, and I don't even sometimes know that it's happening, okay? And so what has happened over the years was that coming into environments and being Kenya is met with some resistance. Not by all people, but by some. People feel like I'm trying to do too much, or I'm trying to be this, and I'm trying to be that. And I'm like, I'm really just trying to be Kenya, and you just need to get on board. But I wouldn't say that to them, right? And so when I was preparing to come to California, I was like, who do I be here? Do I have to just mute and pretend like I'm not big and big personality? Like, who do I be when I'm here, right? And God told me and told my mentor, you go and be full Kenya. And whomever wants to have you will have you. Whoever wants to accept you will accept you. And you are going to unconsciously give people permission to be themselves. But I need you to be yourself first. And I said, well, that settles that. So I'm in worship, waving my hands, doing all the things, having the Holy Spirit manifestations. I'm just being me. Showing up with this hair today and pinned back hair tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being me. I love to cook, so I'm cooking all the time and just being me. And you know what? It's been awesome. I don't know if people haven't accepted me. I don't know. Because the truth is, I ain't paying attention to them. If anybody is giving, I don't even know. I'm just like, I'm just here. And Jesus is here. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Jesus lifted me. Remember that song? Okay, sorry. Some of y'all are like, what? Back in the day. Back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid. Me. Okay, so I went from Jesus to that. Sorry. What's in you will come out. So, praise God. All right, tangent. So my point is that I want to connect. You want to connect. So you have to intentionally decide to connect. Y'all crazy. You have to risk it. You have to risk being rejected. You have to just risk it all. Y'all so crazy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. In church, the church fan. Okay, sorry. I'm not sorry, but I'm saying sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. Any questions? What time is it? I have somebody come in here at 6 o'clock. So I got to be off of here at 5:50. And iPad is dead. Hold on. What time is it? Y'all have any questions? Thank you, Miss Me. She said, be you. That's what I love about you. Come on. Any questions about connecting? I still have 10 minutes before I have to jump off. Listen, I'm committed to this. I know that I'm going to be hurt. I know that I'm going to hurt some people. And it's not going to be intentional. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with humans, It is what it is. That's like, y'all know I got cats. I got 3 of them. Listen, they all having the same birthday this month, like I did last year. All of them, same birthday next month. Eddie's turning 14, Maui's turning 6, and Faith is turning 4. Same birthday. Here's what I know. There are times when Faith, the little one's like, oh, I want to connect with you. I want to be beside you. Okay. And then the other times when I'm trying to rub on her, she gives me the rah. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? And I do it again, and I'm like, I got one more time and she gonna light me up. Let me test it. And I'm like, ah! Right? Because I know better. You know, I want to connect. And she's like, but I don't want to connect with you right now. I wanted to connect with you 20 minutes ago, but I don't want to connect with you right now. So, but I don't throw the cat out. I didn't put her down. I'm just like, okay, when she starts to grunt, leave her alone. It's like, leave the cat alone. You know what I'm saying? But that was a random example. But I'm just saying, she wants to connect at times, and sometimes she don't. Same thing goes for people. So if you want to cross the code lines, if you want to cross the religion lines, the political lines, you can do that. Listen, I have plans to attend a pride parade somewhere in this state. And I don't care if don't nobody go with me. I'm going to get me a nice little sign that says free hugs. And I'm going to have my hair all cute, makeup on. And I'll be like this, giving out hugs, right? And I'm just going to hug people. And they may not ever know I'm a Jesus person. They never know. But I'm going to be hugging and releasing love and peace on them the whole day. And just have a good old time. Why? Because I'm like, Jesus loved them. Jesus loved me when I was acting a fool. And I'm not saying because I'm not saying people acting a fool. I'm just saying that nobody's perfect, and God is working out all our salvation. He is doing what He's doing with all of us. And all my job is to let God love me and me love His people. That's it. And if somebody says, hey, I need prayer for, I need freedom from, okay, in the name of Jesus. Then we go in. Y'all hear what I'm saying? So if you want to connect, you have to connect. And don't just connect to your own kind. You miss out. You miss out on so much when you don't cross the chicken line. You miss out on so much by not getting to know your neighbor next door. You miss out on so much. And you don't have to. You don't have to. If you go to an all-white church, go find another church. I'm not saying leave it, but go connect and go get to know some other people. Your life will be so rich connecting with other people. I'm just telling you. I never would have kayaked had I did my own thing. You know, one of my friends is from Russia in Texas. And listen, this was the only dude I had, prior to now, this was the only dude that connected with me on a techno level. We were in the lounge just talking like in an apartment lounge, the community room. He started playing his music and playing more. Next thing you know, we in there for 4 hours jamming out to all the music from the 90s and 2000s and techno. And I didn't know he liked that. I just know he was playing one song, and I said, what's that? And we kept going. Now we still text back and forth. And it's not like that. We're not dating or anything. It's just that's my homeboy. But here's the thing. When he needs prayer or he needs whatever, because he don't text very often. But when he does text me, I said, he want me to pray. He ain't going to say it, but he wants me to pray. Done. And I just say, hey, I'm here for you, praying for you. And that's it. And he'll do it every 2 or 3 months. And then, hey, pray. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So that's all. I just want to share that with you guys. And if you want to connect with people, you have to be intentional. You have to do introspection. You have to ask yourself really hard questions. And I do it all the time. I do it all the time. And me and Jesus be in there just working it out. Right? I ain't perfect. But I'm intentionally trying to connect with people. Okay? So I love you guys. I'm going to post the link to the spiritual gifts assessment in case you want to find out what your spiritual gifts are. I'll post it here in the chat and then above the video. And make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast. It's you, me, and Jesus. I did an episode on connecting with people, so it's the same one from today, but I recorded it, another time. All right. So, and there's other episodes, like 20 other episodes available for you guys to listen to. Okay. So I love y'all. I will see y'all next Sunday on You, Me, and Jesus, because it's you, it's me, and it's Jesus. Bye, guys.